Well, I'm going on a Starfort tour with you. Yeah, I'm going on a Starfort tour with you. Yeah, I'm gonna wonder what these Starforts do. Chances are that I'm just as confused as you. Confused as you. I'm as confused as you. That's what confused folks do. Confused as you.
I'm Nuremberg. That's where we're starting out. Ladies and gentlemen, put your seats in the upright position and make sure your trays are folded. Wipe the dressing off of your mustache as we prepare for the final descent into Nuremberg. Famous for all the wrong reasons, you know, most of the time. The city of Nuremberg is associated with one of the greatest show trials of all time, which is tragic because it's quite the place. But today we're not really here for the history. We're just looking at Starfort. And this Starfort is still hanging on. You can barely see it here. You can barely see it. And we're told that this city was once one of the free imperial cities, starting with the castle, known as the Imperial Castle, known as Kaisenberg, and spreading outward. The outer walls, the inner walls, still visible. We're told these were built in two different periods, some say around 1260 or so, and eventually the town was built around this fortified settlement until it became no longer a fortified settlement but a city. And that's what we're told. And only the trained eye can see the evidence of the still existent Starfort, which the city has surpassed. The city famously home of a great many new things. The first man to design a globe was here. Give you some idea. Heavily involved in the Reformation, the 30 Years' War, and eventually becomes part of Bavaria. But still, like I said, we're not here for the history. We're here to investigate what we think. Well, what have we here? There you are, Leonard. The same old look we'd find everywhere. Nuremberg originally had something to the effect of 170 towers. Now there are about 30 that remain. And eventually, as the transportation shifted into the railroad, became incorporated into Germany and the rest of the quote-unquote free world. What is this? Bunch of trash? What the hell's going on out here? Are these people milling about? Let's see. Let's see if they're still there. Oh man, we missed the party. Look at that beautiful wall. And yep, same old stuff to see here as everywhere. When it comes to the Starforts, Nuremberg really a beautiful, beautiful place with some of the most Disneyland-esque architecture you can find. And to think, all started as a humble little castle. Whoa, the heck just happened? We see the river, or the canal, actually the old main canal as it's called, and it will be exciting eventually to look at the architecture. But for now, we're here to get a cold brewski. Not a servant to be found. Another time then. And this one not hidden at all. Hello, young lady. Look at me when I'm talking to you, Jimmy. Just beautiful. Wowie wowie. That is a monstrosity. And that ain't going anywhere. And we're told that the city was heavily damaged yet rebuilt after 1945 destruction by the Allied forces. What a beautiful clock. Not the clock. No, there's a clock around here that does the old wooden characters popping out of it. One of these storied cathedrals and churches, of which there are numerous here. But again, just kind of looking for the Starfort. And it's pretty obvious, you know? Pretty obvious that it was here. It's hard to detail where exactly the inner walls begin and the outer walls end. Whole thing seems pretty overtaken by modern stuff. But let's take a little gander, shall we? See what we can see. Lots of work being done. Hard brake detected. Damn robots telling me how to drive. drive. I won't have it. Excavation? Sure wish I could see down them holes they're digging. No doubt there's mystery abound. And wow, this place is really under some construction. That's right on the tracks, too. Let's see what's a little more on the inside. Number of little ovals here. We think we know what that means. Part of the energy grid somehow. An integral part based on all these shapes we're seeing. And wow, just look at this place. Incredible. Looking largely abandoned. A massive industrial site. Oh my gosh. The camera's been exposed. You mean it's not live? I think this is where that big German National Socialist convention was held once, many moons ago. And it looks like they're in the process of redoing it all. Dismantling it, perhaps? I doubt they're storing it. Certainly doesn't really look like it, but what do I know? And sadly, that's what this place has become synonymous with. The capital of that particular much maligned and ill-intentioned regime. But here in the heart, such character. And it's hard to imagine what could be more compelling your device when you're in a city that looks like this. What have we here? How about that? Just casually, just next to a Starbucks, huh? Just a strange world. What a fabulously strange world. Beautiful classic home design. And I've seen footage of this place allegedly. It was destroyed with American Jeeps driving through and infantrymen in the back of trucks making their presence felt for these sort of propaganda pieces. And the city has a strange pallor to it. And it's it just almost looks fake. It almost looks like it's made of cardboard. I mean, I'm not saying that it was. I'm just saying the old footage is. It somehow looks nothing like this. Nothing like this at all. I don't know if that's by design or what. Man, is there a part of this city that isn't under construction right now? I mean, must be what, springtime or summer where they're just jamming it all in? Will be my guess. Such a beautiful place. Part of the Holy Roman Empire at one point. But the Starfort aspects are rather hidden. That grid, man. It's rather impressive. Actually, it's very impressive. The only little part I see almost, and I'm told that there are here and there bits of the wall are still visible, and I can see along this part where we looked, it's pretty obvious that these are what they would call bastions. Let's see if we can get a better view here. Not really at all. But there it is, ever-present city swallowing it up. But the shape is undeniable. But 3D mode or not, which I find a little distracting, actually. You can turn that off. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it detracts. And what we find here is what we find everywhere regarding Staffets. The ever-present water. Nary a Starfort alive without a fountain or a canal under its wing, just buried there. And you can imagine in 100 years, would it even be visible at all? Add another war or two, a couple misplaced bombs. Oops, we weren't aiming for the church, but it just happened to be that way. What a beautiful place. And just look at that. It's not like look at this. It's everywhere you go, man. Black Mirror, right by this thing. I mean, wow. What a strange thing to be distracted by that when this is just, ho-hum, just my walk home. Oh my God, this side too? Wow. One wonders if they weren't just illuminated at one point. This almost looks like an electrical housing. Whatever it is, it's of the utmost, the finest craft. The old eagle. I mean, how is it that we find two obelisks and a strange imposing bull statue without even trying? I no doubt that stuff is just, obviously people are just on their phones around this. It's like, it just must be so boring. But it's not boring to me, folks, because there's not too much in the way of this where I live. And I don't mean to be mocking everyone. I was the same way. I traveled through Germany when I was a wee lad. I didn't take a single freaking picture. I didn't have a cell phone. It was a long time ago, but still, I remember the buildings, but I was not paying much attention. In fact, I was doing other things. What I wasn't doing was looking for Staffets. And I actually only just barely passed through Germany, but still, I probably would have been on TikTok too. See, back in my day, TikTok was a character from the Wizard of Oz books. Here's a musty reference. Anyway, Nuremberg, folks. Not a very good look at it, but we'll come back and focus on the architecture here another time. This is the stage for Staffet. And sometimes we like the ones that are a little more low-key. This one's a little obvious. I guess I shouldn't say obvious, but it's populated, all right. People know about it, that's for sure. Now we're gonna jump over to Limerick, Ireland, and see what we can see.
Rumors of a Starfort abound here in this storied place. Where could it be?
We'll let the eyes adjust. Certainly some interesting geometry. And, what? Is this just water, or is this some sort of dirty, polluted river? Let's have a dalliance. Wowie wowie. And of course, the first thing we sees is a castle. I wouldn't expect anything less. Oh, cool. And, say, that type of stone looks familiar. Could it be that... Could it be that this, here potato market is possibly... Leave it to Ireland have a place called Potato Market. Could it be this is part of it? The Starfort? Could it be? Could it be? Well, I do see some sort of a bastion-type shape here along the water. With some sort of a maybe. Like on the angle there, you know? Maybe. Let's get right in the water. Yay! Wow, it actually lets us. Must be a boat side view. Little dam here, looks like. But, you know, looks like a canal. What you got there, Dad? What you got there? Oh my god, a giant stingray's approaching! That was the last we ever saw, poor Mick. Probably should have picked a different name. What about second breakfast? I was trying to be authentic. Truthfully, I don't really see it. I see stuff. See some funky angles. I see what should be. Like if you were gonna put one somewhere, you would put it here, perhaps, by the canal. Where the canal crosses the railroad tracks. Right here. You know what we'll find, don't you? Perhaps it was here. Or perhaps it was here. Hard to say, but there's always one around. Where those cross. There's always one around. See? Railroad crossed the canal. And here's your loop. Everywhere you go in the world. The funny thing, but here I am getting distracted again. These very suspicious shaped canals here. Just meandering through the land at the same thickness. Ho hum. Not a canal, it's a river. Yeah, right. I'm not buying what you're selling, world. I'm not buying it. Let's jump over to Chaves, Portugal. Maybe we'll have better luck. Over here, I'm told there's rumored to be a Starfort here. Oh, no rumors at all. By golly, just look at it. Plain as day. Look at that. Someone went around the whole friggin' thing and took these little pictures. How awesome of them. They knew what they were doing. No mistaking it, folks. No mistaking it. Little battery housing here for whatever happened here. However it worked, that was a part of it. And all this looking like either a well-worn trail or a well-worn waterway, perhaps? I don't know. Well, what's the point of it? A fort? Like, what the hell for? What's this fort gonna defend? What? Fort is tiny. Tiny. What are you gonna do? Get all the gold and go hide here? I mean, it's not even a good fort. It's not even good for defense stuff, all right? It looks just super industrial. That's what it looks like to me. Looks like pure industry. What was here, I wonder? And always, oh, the deep moat. The deep moat with the gate and the door down there, of course. But the deep moat... So that, and the gate that, well, I guess to invade, you just had to cross this bridge. Yeah, that's it. So I don't really know the point of the moat. Plus, it's not even that deep. Give me a bunch of orcs with stilts, dude. Or we'll just go through that door. I'm sure the history is more, well, you know, at the time, it was very different. You know, you see these everywhere also on these Starfort. These little circular pads. And we're told that this is where, like, a cannon or the battery, you see there, the word there? The battery of the fort would be mounted and would swivel around and... presumably fire in multiple directions, probably at these tennis players. No, I mean, I'm sure the story is, I hope it's better than that. I mean, I don't know what they're even calling this. What are they calling this? Football stadium? Yeah. I don't know. It looks like I can't really get any closer to it. Maybe from afar. Maybe from afar we'll see it better. Nope, kind of. What went on here? What's going on down there? I wonder. Kind of a strange way to build those, huh? There was water down there at one point, I guess. This is a nice big old cobblestone courtyard. Looking like things were here once. Unless it was just always a parking lot. Always a parking lot, never a park. Isn't that what they say? Not what who says. You know, the slogan makers of our day. Look at this. Is this another one? Oh, wow, it is another one. What? Wait, okay, so you got one here. I want to make sure that I'm... the third one? How weird is that? Let's check this one out. Well, no one went around and took pictures of this one. And wowie, the same kind of stone. Look, this one's been, like, settled into. Look at that facade over there. Cool. But yeah, it's unmistakable. I mean, this type of weathered stone is unmistakable. Once you've seen a few hundred of them, as we have here. And what's the story behind this? I don't know. Is this a fort as well? That we're told these are all bastion forts? I mean, does this look like a fort to you? Spin me around, dude. I had a mission. I mean, just super freaking cool. Whatever it is, super cool. I'm still going with water fountain. Trickling down, flowing down into the city. Population gets bigger. You need two of them. I don't know. What else could they be? Make any sense for them to be forts? Funny how this one's like all industrialized and this one is the same size and dimensions, apparently. See what it looks like from a distance. Boop. That's not very far. Oh, riddle solved, guys. There's the cannon. That's That's proof right there, dude. That right there is proof, dude. Hey, what's up, Bim? That is proof. We're gonna jump around down here, get away from that bald guy who seems to recognize me, but I don't know him. So, dude, instead of being awkward, we'll just move along into this roundabout that no doubt holds some strange significance. Excuse me? You guys cannot just build a home here, okay? There's no urban camping. What is this, Oregon? I'm gonna go get the authorities. Let's see what this person did. Inside. Oh, sorry. I appear to be lost. I didn't mean to be that intrusive. All right. Spotted again. So funny you can tell what year it is by the stuff they wear in their face. Oh, nice. This is what we're looking for. Look at that manicured garden. How cool is that? Lovely. I appreciate that. And man, I love this, you know, just living around it, just making do. It's so ancient and it's just there forever. And nothing you can do. Build around it. Imagine being that 1,000 years old or 500 years ago, building something so substantial that it's like just becomes literally the background. Like there's no chance of destroying this pretty much ever. So we just build around it, eventually gets swallowed up and forgotten. We gotta wheel these friggin' things out. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're wheeling this cannon on those little wheels. These look like they belong on like a railroad track or something. Give me a break. How stupid is that? And what have we here? Well, I might have known. Everywhere you go. Yeah, we get it. You got this place under control. We can tell. We saw what the people inside were wearing, okay? Beautiful. Funny, this one wasn't even on the radar. It was not on the radar. But you know what? It is now. I'm gonna write it like a Latino teenager. We'll call it part dos. I'm sure I'll remember what that means years later. Now we'll jump over to San Sebastian in Spain, where there is rumors of a Starfort. Oh man, I should have hid the pin. Make it look like we're actually exploring it. No, it's already been found. Just checking it out, you know. And this one is rather buried. Look at all the options we got. Hell yeah, I like that. Take us right up in there. Same old stone. Oh, it's a fort. Riddle solved. Guess we can go home. Guys, it's not a clothing optional place. I mean, actually, it's Spain, so it probably is. Whoa, look at that view. Good golly wackles. That is amazing. I didn't realize this was so high up. This must have been beautiful in its day. Water spilling out of here and just tumbling down the hillside towards the town where it was gathered up in a beautiful lagoon. It's a little unnecessary with the cannons. Like, we get it. And besides, no cannon. These cannons. What are you shooting at the wall? Your own wall here, dude? An unnecessary reminder. An unnecessary proof, he said in all quotes. Proof it's a fort. I mean, I've got a cannon. Am I a fort? So what? I can only shoot fireworks. Still cannon, bro. Still cannon. Let's go down to the beach. Woohoo, indeed. And wowie wowie. What is this? What are all these rusted metal? These squares here? These like little rusted metal beams that were... Maybe they like... slam beams inside of this to hold its structure? I don't know. That's bizarre. What are those little squares with knobs on them, clearly made of metal? That is bizarre. I don't think I've seen that ever before. There's some explanation for it. You there, riddle me this. Wow, there's more of them. Okay, that does not look stable. But yeah, what the hell are these? These must just be like, they drilled in like massive, like rebar type metal rods to reinforce the strength. I mean, that must be what it is. This is great though, as a demonstration. So you see how these rust like this? Add a few hundred years of time, or maybe the whole thing's underwater, and this grout stuff disappears, you know, just erodes away. And this all kind of melds into one, and you get these long streaks of iron, and it just looks like a lot of old mountains and things that you see, you know? And let's say these rust out completely, like some of these clearly are. See how this one's hollow right here? It rusts out completely, and then you have these holes in the middle of the rock. Often they're square. I think the square ones are old posts. And I think a lot of this technology is stuff that we have just learned from our forebears. These little ornament, these are like little florets, rosettes. Interesting. I mean, you see this in Africa. Often they build like this, but they use logs to support these walls. So it must be the same kind of concept. But I've never quite seen it quite like this on a sea wall like that, or a retaining wall. Very interesting and kind of telling, really. Not necessarily about this in particular, but it's interesting to note going forward. It's just noteworthy. A data point, if you will, which is all this really is. Just data points galore. Look at those big slabs. Very cool, very beautiful place, and very well hidden in here. I mean, look at this. This is just tucked right away. And thank you, random photographers who do this stuff, who go in here and take these little panoramics or these little circular sort of photographs. Without them, you know, we would have more blind spots in the world. Wow, where am I standing? Oh, all right. Thank you, guys, for doing this. I don't want you guys to know. We appreciate it over here in this far side of the world. We really do. It makes the world smaller place, a more connected place, and I wouldn't be able to enjoy such a virtual view as I'm currently doing without you good people. Thank you, glowing red spirit, and thank you, sir, and thank you guys, and thank you out there in the lagoon, and thank you all for tolerating such a crappy video. You know, I was struggling how to put these on. Here we go. Here's maybe this spot will be telling. Wait, this is right back where we were, right? By that wall? Well, hey, I was hoping for something a little different. See right here, it looks like a bastion here that's... I wonder why it took us there. See how it looks like there's a bastion here, submerged, part of the Starfort, you can kind of see, and this is a little circular, concrete, circular sort of, you know, where they tell us the batteries went, the cannons, the swivelable. And maybe they were repurposed for that. Sure, I mean, it's possible. I don't think that's what they're designed for, personally. Let's try it again. Nope. Part of my shoe. Oh my god, look, I'm like Tom Hanks' Instagram. Can creep. Oh, I'm glad the local artist chose that as a canvas instead of the ancient wall behind it. I really am. And look, this just looks like slanted walls of the Starfort, or even partially collapsed. Yeah, actually, look at that. Is that a whole big piece of it that's just sort of collapsed? Wow, those are some big stone slabs. Definitely looks like, I understand why they put these pegs here. Plus, it makes this wall so much easier to climb, which I would love to do, but I'm not there, so I can't. But I totally would. And dude, I don't even care about tetanus. I ain't scared. Give me all them rusty handholds. This looks like it's a portion of it over here. Also, we got a little bit of the, sorry for the dizzying array of fancy moves. Here we go. A little auditorium, kind of. Another view. Man, it's hard to tell, it's hard to tell the elevation sometimes. I thought I was looking at a place far lower. Look at those very uniform blocks that they've used here. They look new, but still just muddies stuff up, doesn't it? When you get old blocks and then you get new blocks and it's hard to tell which is the true blocks. Massive rose window. Super easy to throw up. No big deal. Anyone can do it. These guys can do it too. They already did it. They did it with flip-flops on, bro. You didn't. Aw, cute. Little dove flying by. I know I haven't made music in a while. It's because my hard drive crashed and I lost everything. You know, I lost all my ability to do it, kind of. We'll get back there with more goofy theme songs soon. I swears. I want to see what this is all about real quick before we go. Yep, that all checks out. Wow, what in the hell? Where am I? I'm in Spain, I know. Underground, huh? A basement floor, huh? Well, tell me that, you and your fake baby doll. Don't look at the baby, look at me. San Sebastian, with your little hidden Starfort, right there in the middle of the water, like a desalinization plant, huh? Like it sucked in the water from down here, maybe, you know? Bubbled it up, purified it through layers of protozoa and stuff like that, like we hear about in other places. Out there fishing. What a peaceful place. And how lovely. What goes on here, I wonder? Quarry? Or actually, this looks like wood. Look at this. This all looks like pulver. I mean, sure, it's stone, but it just looks like a giant fallen tree, actually. Look at the grain on that. Man, if that's not like big machinery gouging pieces out of it, what is it? And it looks like a fallen tree. Look at the way that, I mean, if you were looking at this from, you know, up close like this, I'm not saying that's what it is, but it just looks like you'd think this is a close-up of like a stump with moss growing on it, you know? You back it up and it looks like a giant fallen tree. I wonder, is this part of the Starfort? This part of another one? I wonder if this were a giant fallen tree, then this would be part of it perhaps. Sure kind of looks like it. Look at that. It looks like the same kind of grain. How crazy is that? And we're just entertaining reckless speculation. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it does look like a massive log fallen across the land here. And I wonder if it did, where was it growing from? How big would it be? Would it be like this big? Could this be the stump of it, I wonder? Hold on a second. Let's just entertain a bit of fun and let's just say that then. It's a fun. We're just exploring, folks. We just exploring. This could absolutely be nothing. But I am curious. After all, the search for truth is the greatest adventure! Oh, whatever. I don't care about that. It's all this. New hoops they're making me jump through. Probably spelled that wrong. Let's look at this one. Because this one sometimes is better. Believe it or not, sometimes it is better. This stuff. Topographically. Alright, so there's our theoretical fallen tree. And this is the 3D-ish landscape, right? Let's say this is our tree. And this would be the stump, perhaps, that it fell from. Fell this way. Or perhaps this is the stump. But for that, we'd have to get a little closer to it, if it has the same feature. Dude, this is very interesting. Does this not look like wood? Even in this 3D cartoony state, does this not look like it could be wood? This is the base tree. Not over here, but like the root once grew. This is the stump of it. It fell that way. Broke apart. Well, it would have landed over here, perhaps. And petrified. This side doesn't look much like it. Wow, look at that. Look how embedded that Starfort is into that, hill. That is such a better view. It's so cool. Wow, look at that. Man, how come the free version of this is so much better sometimes? Well, whether or not that's a giant tree or not, look at that. That Starfort just buried in those trees. And so lush. You know, it's almost as if it were like covered in water or something. Even behind these fancy pants resorts. There it is. Just built. Look at that. These little houses and things built right into the wall there. This is so much of a better view. How cool is that? Yeah, looking very industrial. You just added this statue on top to make it religious. That's what it looks like to me. But all this was here way before that. Even through this like cartoonized sort of rendering, you can tell. At least I can tell. At least I think I can tell, I should say. I can't speak from a position of authority, but look at that. Unbelievable. Just sunk in there. Was that a tunnel leading inside of the mountain? What? Let us go there. Will you let us go there? My little yellow man. Holy cow. Look at that. At least I think that's what I'm looking at, isn't it? I didn't expect that. Thanks, bro. Whoever you are, I really do mean that. So these are the parts you can go into when you... Why was it blue then? Whoa. No way. What in the bleep? What did I stumble into? What is this? Oh my god, this is fantastic. I don't even know. So many questions here. First of all, why does a stone have this metal imprint look to it? What is going on here? And what is going on here? Is this just a statue carved into the rock? Or are these like the bodies of people that have been petrified? What the hell is this? No, this is built. This guy's head's broke off, right? Because it looks like this spike held its head on at one point. Like these statues have been smashed or defaced, or it was a war memorial. But what a fucking creepy thing to find here. And why? What is this place? Where am I? Wow. Look at that. What a mysterious place. That's the kind of post I'm talking about, where like the wood maybe rots out and leaves a... I am so confused by what this is, though. If this is a monument carved out of stone, was it supposed to look like this? With their heads missing and stuff? Or is this just petrified, ash-covered, actual corpses? You know, I think that's maybe going too far, but it certainly is creepy. This implies that these statues were built and they've been defaced. Maybe. Oh, where's the head? Maybe the head's rolled around down here somewhere. I don't know. I did not expect to find this here, though, with this creepy old staircase. Fascinating stuff here. Absolutely fascinating. What a gem to walk into to find that. And this must be a tourist spot? Okay, yeah, so that's the trail leading up to that. So it must be a well-known, like, monument in this... Keep seeing this everywhere. In this strange place. Looking very, very ancient and looking like concrete that had a big aggregate, and then the aggregate's just kind of fallen out, like the rocks have fallen out. I don't know, man. What a mysterious place. I did not expect to find this here. You know, this just maybe goes to show you that that old version of Google Earth, the one they tell you to download that's way better, maybe it's just, you know, I've called it a bait and switch in the past. Maybe it is. Maybe it really is. But now I'm curious about all these little places. I did not expect to find that. It's just strolling around in this little weird, amazing park that I bet is just terrifying after dark and looking very industrial. Now, this actually makes sense as a fort because at least, you know, you've got elevation and you've got potential areas that need to be protected, but that still doesn't seem to tell the whole story. I look forward to finding more out about this place when I'm actually doing one for the architecture. Oh, you two again. Maybe that's my time. Let's jump back to the boring one here. Real quick like. The neutered version. At least, see, I didn't see those other ones. Maybe those are available and I just didn't pick the right ones. Oh yeah, I guess they are. Go back in here real quick. Look around. Okay. I'm guessing these were probably obelisks at one point. Or gravestones? Not really. That's a gravestone. For some reason, I have my doubts. And you know why I have those doubts? Because I've been lied to before. I love those little cubes for some reason. They remind me of those funny little Euro board games that I like to distract myself with so much. Which we'll have to get into sometime. The funny way that history is propagandized and disseminated, the information disseminated down through all these various hobbies that people hold and anything related to history. It's just amazing. You know, people just pass stuff on. It's just easy to see how stories can get kicked down until there's one day true. And maybe some of these stories are true. I'm sure there's some truth to all of them. All good lies have a good sense of truth, but there's something more to it. And I didn't do any of these places any justice. I wasn't really trying to. I was just kind of poking around looking for Starfort. Sorry if this was very dizzying, but I try to do this from every now and then and just kind of catch up and see the world from a different point of view, as virtual and weird as it might be. And I'll see you all very soon to dive into the deep history of Wyoming, and it's about to be dry as hell, but maybe I'll see you guys then. Yay! Wee! Ooh. Actually, hold on a second. Let's go back with these new eyes into Limerick, Ireland, and let's see for ourselves what the old Google Earth failed to show, but the new one perhaps will give us a fresh perspective. Now here we are. Now we're told that here in Ireland, around 1500 or so, just kind of winging this history, but from my very vague recollection/memory. There she is. Hold up. There she is. We're told that the English control in Ireland had pretty much diminished to an area around Dublin known as the Pale. I guess to a lesser extent, they maybe controlled the coastal cities, Cork, Galway, and Waterford, and some of these other places. But despite this apparent decline, these alleged Normans left what we're told is a permanent mark on Ireland. Not only the language and the feudal system, but the castle and the cathedrals and the influence. And King John's castle, allegedly being one of them. Is that so? And it is so. According to legend, that is. And look, it's weird. Well, we couldn't see preliminary glance. We can see plain as day here in the internet version of Google Earth. Again, the cemetery uncomfortably close to the church, which I find odd, but that's no real evidence of anything. But anyway, and what we're told is that after the savage Cromwell's army was completing its victories in England, they then set their sights on retaking Ireland with a full complement of heavy cannons, and as the Irish retreated to their poorly fortified towns and cities, and after the cruelty was unleashed at places like Wexford, a lot of the Irish resistance were cowering beneath the stronghold here in Limerick, and also probably Galway. And they were where Catholics allegedly were holding out, though ravaged by starvation and bubonic plague, things of this nature. And this wouldn't be the first time that this storied city was under siege, and the beleaguered populations huddled beneath its resilient walls. And so much of this history I'm recounting from memory. At the time, it didn't click. Time, I mean, moments ago. Didn't quite click, but this was indeed the place that I was speaking of. This alleged Norman creation that I'm not looking at right now. In fact, if you were planted here, you would think that there had never been an invasion ever anywhere, ever on Earth, ever in the region. And how wrong you'd be. How very, very wrong you would be. Because, of course, it wasn't just Cromwell, but also there was the Glorious Revolution, or the removal of King James the Catholic in place of his daughter, Mary, the Protestant, and some Dutch prince husband of hers, named Billy of Orange. In Ireland, not so glorious, and James supporters known as the Jacobites and the Williamites. Due to the unexpected arrival of James's son, suddenly there's a melee, an heir to the throne, and all sorts of political ambitions were thwarted, and the largely Catholic Ireland Jacobites rose in James' defense, and French Catholic troops assisted, and yet still the armies were defeated. James fleeing to France, and the Jacobites retreating west into this fortress city that I seem to have a hard time finding. Though I assure you, it is here. There it is. St. Mary's Cathedral is what it's known as now. It's with the castle. And there she is. All right. Part of the walls here. The unmistakable material. The same everywhere you go. And this one looking much less Starfortish, but no doubt part of the same grid. Same infrastructure. Though the road seems to have raised up quite a bit. No doubt the ramparts were much taller, as they would have had to have been, due to the powerful siege cannons that the Williamites brought to the table in such times, causing widespread panic inside these walls. This leads to the dashing Patrick Sarsfield galloping out with his best men to ambush the siege train deep behind anything lines, and other stories that were told which seem impossible, yet so the local highwayman, the Galloping Hogan, leads the way. And look at that. Interesting bit of restoration happening, I guess. Curious to see what sort of a Burger King's going in here. But don't worry, we'll keep the outside walls. Development site, yes, of course. And look at the grass sprouting out of the stone. It just implies maybe once it was soaked with water. What do I know? I'm just a human being on this place, looking at ruins everywhere, and wondering what became of us. Wow, that makes 0 sense, but okay, whatever. I'll just look down at my Black Mirror phone and keep walking while I tell you about the tales of the battered and bruised Jacobites who had retreated once more behind these walls and forced to surrender. Though such was the bravery of the Catholic defense, they were given reasonable terms that were then immediately betrayed by the glorious and untrustworthy English bastards. And yes, now it's a cathedral, and yes, of course, the Irish are given very little credit for any of this. We're told it's all Normans that did all this, and English, and the Irish are just a bunch of raggedy peasants, and these are viewpoints which I obviously do not agree with, because I do not appreciate one faction being pitted against the other. No matter what you believe, no matter what you look like, no matter who you are. These are lies told to us, by my humble estimation, by those that would seek to divide us upon every line. And just look at that beautiful, completely unconquerable castle/cathedral with just the ornamental tourist bits left. It's like the Alamo, you know. Just enough left for you to get a taste of it, but not enough left for you to feel the timelessness of it. Not enough anyway. And that is a strange thing to trust in general, and also a strange way to face that building. But what do I know? I'm just an unemployed, betrayed, bedraggled, crestfallen peasant, just like those that once cowered behind these mighty walls. But yet the world is built on peasant revolts, and revolt we shall, time after time after time after time after time. Anyway, I don't know what point I was making. I guess I didn't really have one. But Limerick is pretty cool. Wish I could see more of the old Starfort, but it seems like it's been relegated to kind of a tourist attraction, which is strange considering it was once one of the most powerful, if not iconic, strongholds of, if not the Irish Catholic revolutions, but Ireland in general. And I hope that I'm just in the wrong part of town and doing a terrible job at this. And I hope that there are parts of the town where the walls are still really visible. For some reason, I seem to have a hard time finding them. But this is a disgrace. I'm doing this such a disservice. We're going to come back here and we're going to do a much better job, you know. This is just a part of a series where I just jump around and look at Stafforts as they are in the modern world. And it's not really deep dive in history, and I shouldn't even try, for let us be heard indeed. Well, anyway, I'll come back with more, better building as I be back before.